Hi, I'm Reggie Ponder, the Reel Critic. I am here with Brian Banks for the movie Brian Banks. Brian, your story is actually not an uncommon story, but it is a personal story. Can you talk a little bit, just top line, what happened to you?
Yeah. Well, without giving away the entire film, at the age of 16 in 2002, I was on my way to USC to play football. I was verbally committed to USC on a full scholarship. The summer going into my senior year in high school, I went to a known makeout spot on my high school campus with this girl that I've known for a while, and we kissed and made out, but we never had sex. But by the end of that day, I was being arrested and accused of sexual assault. By the time that they figured out that that did not happen, 10 years of my life had passed, which consisted of 5 years of prison, 5 years of strict custody, parole, registered sex offender, the whole gamut of it all. And eventually was my freedom was eventually restored once my accuser recanted and came forward, admitting that it never happened. Got my life back, got back into shape, had an opportunity to play with the Atlanta Falcons for a little bit, and here I am today promoting this amazing film called Brian Banks.
So Brian, it's really interesting because I heard you on a panel kind of talking about that there's three different ways in which you can deal with forgiveness. And I have concluded that your way was the third way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So can you talk about those three ways?
Yeah. I believe that there's three ways of dealing with forgiveness. One, you can completely and wholeheartedly forgive somebody. You know it to be true in your heart. I forgive you, and I can let this go. Another is to not forgive somebody. What happened in your life was so severe that you're not to a point yet where you can forgive. And the third is to completely remove yourself from a situation altogether and not allow a person or an experience that much power over your life to where you have to determine whether or not you can or cannot forgive somebody. Uh, Acknowledging that the past is the past, that it happened, there's nothing that you can do to change it. But how you see yourself, how you respond to what you've been through, and what you do moving forward, let that be your main focus. And yeah, I've chosen to completely just remove myself from a decision of whether I forgive or not forgive, because that won't change what has already happened. And no one deserves that much power over my life. So my focus now has been, okay, this is what has happened in my life, but what I do in this moment determines what happens next. What I put into the world is what I get back. So if I'm throwing this negativity and hatred and animosity and revenge and all these different things into the world, then I can't expect a positive reception or in return. So I try to just live my life the way I would want people to treat me, and that's by giving love and positivity.
So what's interesting, because this is bugging me, man, is that the fact that you can do that, but you also know, because you talked about this, how there's other people in jail today who can't really do that because they didn't get blessed to get out. So they're 20, 30, 40 years of being inside. So what advice do you give back to them? Because I know you've been doing a lot of giving back. So what advice do you give to those who are just there? I mean, and kind of stuck.
I would say that I've been there. I haven't been there 20, 30 years, but I've been there. And what really helped me get through my situation was realizing and understanding that that I control my emotions and my emotions didn't control me. If I allow my emotions to control me, then I would hang on to all of this negativity or these different negative emotions. But if I empowered myself and I took control of my emotions, then I can choose how I felt about the things that were happening in my life. It wouldn't change what happened. It wouldn't change how it happened, but how I'm allowing it to affect me would be my choice. Um, I think that it was important for me to realize um, that this negative energy that I had towards the people who I felt were responsible, more than likely they didn't even know how I felt. They probably didn't care how I felt. So this negative energy was simply for me. And then I came to a further understanding that experiences don't come with emotion. We give emotions to experiences. And so the way that I felt about what was going on wasn't the result of what was happening. It was the result of how I felt about what was happening. And so I had to empower myself and to find that control over my emotions. And once you find that, and once you gain control and you master it, you can be moved. You can be in a box. You can be in a tiny cell. You can be in a cage, physically, but mentally you'd always be free.